Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to show you how we can paint this lovely painting having flower and three bees in a different perspective. I have used these colored pen to finish my painting and to do some extra shading and detailing around the bee area. So let's see how we can do this. So let's start with the today's video. So you need to create a circle. So this circle is the size of your flower. You can keep it smaller and bigger as per your choice. So I'm keeping it quite big flower, and then we are going to draw three honeybees in a different perspective. So create a small oval shape and then create a letter B. So the upper section of letter B is more rounded and the lower section is more of a teardrop kind of shape, and lower portion is little longer as compared to the upper portion. So something like this you can create. I think I need to adjust the focus of my camera. Okay, so now you can create the antenna in a different angle, and then you can create the wings. Now this is the side perspective. So one wing is in behind and one wing is growing from the body itself. So we can keep one wing from the upper section of the honeybee, and then you can create legs. These legs are segmented. The upper segments of these legs are little bigger, and as you are moving towards downward direction you can keep it little finer and finer. Now you can create one more. So I'm basically repeating this similar stuff again. I have created a bee based on in which area we want to place it, and then we are seeing from the side, so wings are not that big, and again one big is from the upper section of the body and one is behind it, and a small negative space in the eye is also important, which we can see clearly when we are going to trace it, and then multiple legs in a different angle. And likewise you can create many bees. So I'm going to create one more with same pattern like we did for these two. You can keep the wings little bigger, little smaller in a different angle. So something like this you can do throughout the flowers. You can create many more in different perspective. And for today's video, my inspiration is from social media, and he is a photographer, and if you want you can refer to my description section to know more about it. So I'm done with all the three bees, almost repeating the similar stuff. You can keep the legs in a different direction for sure, but let me trace it quickly with the help of pen. So today's agenda is to use all these colored pen, and I think mixing colored pen and watercolor is something really nice, especially if you are a beginner, because this saves a lot of effort, to be frank. So let me trace it. So in the eye part, as you can see, I have left a fine negative space, a shiny effect, which is important, and then trace the wing area and then body, legs, all those things. So I'm doing everything with the help of pen. You can do it with the help of watercolor also, but this is something easy to do, especially when it comes to fine elements like these small leg segments and antenna. So why not we can use a ball pen. So let's trace everything with the help of ball pen, and you can use colored ball pen for other fine detailing and giving some extra texture around your flowers and stem area. So I think colored pens are very useful if you are a watercolor artist, and especially if you are into drawing. So I love to draw, so I sometimes prefer to use these colored ball pen to make my life easier and to save time. So we are done with these two. Let me quickly do the third one. So I think now you have understood how we can draw these honeybees. Now you can create little bit of pattern around the wing area. Again, these things you can do with the help of watercolor, totally fine, but I'm doing it with the help of pen. So we are almost done with the honeybees structure, and I'm going to finish it later on. But first let me start with the flower. So with the help of yellow color, I am spreading this yellow color throughout the circle. So as you can see, we are also going through the bees as well, and that is why I like to use ball pen. As you can see, I am not worried at all with the honeybees structure because those are drawn with the help of pen. And this one is the lightest color of yellow, so you can use whatever color you like, but try to use the lighter color, and then you can paint bees as well with the help of yellow color. So I'm using yellow color for the flower as well for today's video. Now you can keep the upper section of bees a little darker, and you can keep the lower section a little lighter. So I'm lifting some color with the help of tissue paper and keeping the upper section a little more brighter. Now with the help of very light shade of gray color, this is very light shade of gray, I just want to add little color around the wing area. You can also keep fine negative space to create shiny effect around the wing area. Now for today's video, you should use watercolor sheet. I am not using it because I am out of my watercolor sheet, which is very unfortunate, and that is why I am using this drawing sheet. But as we are not too much into watercolor for today's video, I think I am fine, but you should use watercolor sheet. Now with the help of cadmium yellow, I am creating more stripes around the honeybees. So you can keep the first layer lighter and then second layer little darker and create stripes. Now you can do the stem area with the help of green color. I'm using sap green color, and you can do some more extra shading, detailing and adding texture around your stem area with the help of pen, which we're going to do later on. So this is the first layer of flowers, stems and honeybees. Now you can keep it aside and let it dry completely so that we can start with the second layer of the flower. Mine is little wet, but it's fine. So I'm creating this petal kind of shape now with the help of little darker shade as compared to the previous color, and creating this petal kind of shape using 1/3 of my brush, pushing my brush a little bit and moving my brush towards left and right to create something like this. In this particular time, you don't need to think too much about flower structure or the composition of each small flower. You can simply create a random petal kind of shape throughout the circle. So I'm going to repeat the similar stuff throughout my circle, especially around the edges. Edges of this particular structure should have some texture, so try to create small petals around the edge area. So now you have understood what needs to be done, so repeat the same thing throughout the circle. You just need to remember, you don't need to hide the first layer. You should be able to see the lighter shade of yellow as well in this particular structure. So keep the flowers at distance and keep the visibility of lighter shade of yellow also. So something like this we have done. Let it dry completely. Now we can start using our ball pen. So I'm going to use orange color, 2 different shades of green color for the stem, but I think I should make little darker at one side of the stem, so I'm using little darker shade of green for one side. Now with the help of pen, we are going to add more texture around the honeybees, flowers and stems. So my sheet is dried completely. Now I can start with the honeybees first. I want to keep the head area around the eye black in color, so I'm going to add black color around that area, and I'm also going to add stripes of black throughout the body, and I'm also adding little furry texture around the body area. So fine lines to make it little fluffier. keeping the upper section of head black and also keeping yellow stripes in between. So you can create stripes like this with the help of black color, and as you're moving towards downward direction of bees, you can keep these stripes finer and finer. And around the body you can create fine lines, and that is why I like to use pen. So let me show you one more time what needs to be done, and then we can skip the third honeybee. You can do it by your own. So keeping the head black and then stripes of black in between as we are moving towards downward. We are keeping the lines finer. Legs are already defined, wings are already defined, so we are done with the bees. Now with the help of orange ball pen, you can add more lines around the yellow stripes that we have to get some little extra brightness into the bees area. With the help of green ball pen, you can add more texture around the stem area. So I'm creating this hatching process with the help of pen around the stem area to get more texture. And this is the easiest way to add more texture around the area wherein we need very fine structure like stems and all. So I'm using both shade of green color for the stem area. Now with the help of orange color, so this is the third layer of my flower, I'm creating more flowers, but this time I'm keeping the structure more defined. In the previous layer we have created only petal kind of shape. In this one I'm keeping the flowers little visible, so you can keep these flowers at distance because we also need to see the lighter shade of flower and the lightest color of yellow as well. And you can keep the center part of the flower darker as compared to the edges, and make sure you are adding flowers around the edge as well. Your edge of flower should not be too smooth. So repeat the same thing, and then with the help of orange ball pen you can create stamen for these small flowers. Now think about you're doing this step with the help of watercolor. It is hectic and you need to use very fine brush, which is not very usual. So you can do it very easily with the help of ball pen. So I'm adding the stamen little curve pattern for each and every flower that we can see, or we can assume because this is on the loose side. And then you can create couple of more flowers having 4 petals. So in this way we can see the flower structure clearly, and make sure you are adding these flowers at distance because we don't overdo this step with the help of pen. So keep these things at distance. And then with the help of pink ball pen you can add center part of the flower. As these flowers are very small in size, so I think using ball pen is something very easy for us to use. So repeat the same thing for all the flowers that you can see, and this one is the last step for today's video. So hope now you have understand how these colored ball pen are very useful for watercolor painting, and hope this video is useful for you guys. Please do let me know if you have any feedback for me, and thank you so much for watching. See you guys in the next video.